hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You might be wondering, well, who are you? I'm your official YouTube vibe coach. A couple weeks ago, I was recalling how these 20-something-year-old girls on MySpace back in the 2000 aughts. Do we just call them the aughts or the 2000 aughts? Or do we just call them the 2000s? Whatever. Back then, when it was like Tom and MySpace and there was no TikTok and what was the other one? Tumblr? No, I don't think Tumblr was around. Anyways, MySpace, 20-something-year-old girls. They were proclaiming to be life coaches, so much so. People bought the hype of a life coach so much that I was working in radio and we would have these girls on and interview them like they could have some kind of life advice at 23. I'm sorry. Unless you live in some tumultuous upbringing, it ain't happening, okay? And with that, I thought, you know, the 2020s need its own version of life coach. Tony Robbins old and grifting now with Dean Graziosi, which is Italian for grift. You know, there's just not that spice. There's alpha males, there's skibbity rismas, there's all this stuff, but they're all losers, you know? The Tim Pools and the Charlie Kirks and the Tates, they're all just balding men in different forms of suppressing their feelings about being bald. And there's no true new life coach. And I thought, I'll take the mantle on and I'll call it Vibe Coach. So I'm Rob, your official Vibe Coach. What's up, Bandito? Timothy, good to see you guys. Blessings and a blessings to you, my good friends. So a couple of weeks ago, I said I'll be YouTube's official vibe coach. Now you may be laughing at that, which then you get the joke. And if you're not, I've come to find out that a lot of Republicans, a lot of sad MAGA incels need a vibe coach because they chirp and they mouth off like, you know, they were Jeff Ross at a roast waiting for the applause, and they just don't realize how sad it sounds. So I take certain opportunities throughout the video. But what else do we do? Well, here at your official vibe coach, we talk about the news. We joke about the news because the news is mostly a joke. And I call it newsmentary. I'm already exhausted and we haven't even gone into the news. CJ, good to see you. Zeke the Beast, what up? Just coming from Turn Left Live. What is Turn Left Live? I haven't heard of that. Is that a podcast? We also have a Discord link down below. Solus, thank you very much for helping to maintain that. Oh, and by the way, Solus had led me into this article about Roblox being an area for adults to groom kids. And I did not get to read the article yet, but I had heard of this. So we're going to talk about that news this week. It's not really breaking like the news that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Donald Trump, potentially, what Michael Wolff, his autobiographer. Ugh, it must have been a hard job. But Michael Wolff goes on the Daily Beasts. Hold on, where is it? What is it called? The Daily Beast YouTube channel, link down below. And in this video, he talks about how nothing is distracting from the Epstein files. Donald Trump is trying everything. Federalize the police, you know, send the military against the citizens in DC, trying to make Mamdani this bad guy. You know, he tried to throw the Obama thing. Every time Trump talks about how old Obama did something illegal, I'm like, Trump, do you not forget that presidents have immunity? Of course you didn't forget. But you can't charge any president with anything. We have a king, essentially, now. So Donald Trump has really tried to throw everything at the wall to get his MAGA base to bite and get distracted from the Epstein files, but we will never forget until they release them. And Michael Wolff is saying that this meeting with Putin to talk about Ukraine, odd that Zelensky's not going to be there, but Michael Wolff, his biographer, his biographer, the guy who wrote his book for Epstein. What did Donald Trump do with Epstein? Because, I mean, think about the stuff that's in the news lately, right? It's been absolutely insane. You got to wonder what is in those files that he just won't release them. And he keeps looking for, as Michael Wolff said, a big thing, which Michael Wolff says this is his code for we need a big distraction. Robin, do kings get elected? You're adorable. You're adorable. You think Donald Trump won the election? Oh, how come you people, and I do mean you people, MAGA, went from you can't trust the elections to of course he won? I now subscribe to you can't trust them. But it's adorable that MAGA has flip-flopped that quick. Fascists get elected all the time. Oh, thank you, Bandito. Yeah, if you do know your history, you could look up how Hitler rose to power. But you know what? We're not here for that kind of history lesson. The history lesson we are going to go into is how some people like to throw communism around as this scare word. I'm looking at you, Tucker Carlson. And realistically, what we're kind of getting towards here in America is corporate communism. You know, it would be cool if we had the kind of classless, stateless, moneyless communism that is the pinnacle of its ideology. And when you say that, stateless, no government, no money, no classes, just everybody getting what they need, it kind of sounds like heaven, doesn't it? It's odd that Christians don't want a moneyless, classless, stateless society. Unless it's, you know, after they're crucified or however they die. I don't know. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But to get into that, I promised you guys yesterday. Thank you, Bandito. Timothy always... Timothy, where would I be without you, Timothy? Hit that subscribe button. Turns into the notification bell. Hit that. And then hit like... because we're doing God's work here. But before we get in to the corporate communism we're facing and how Donald Trump has basically handed the reins over to all of his corporate sponsors and how things have just gotten more and more miserable every single day. Yesterday, I promised you we would hear a little bit from FDR. I don't know if people know who FDR is. You can put in the chat if you've ever heard those initials. At one point, they were very powerful and important initials. In fact, a lot of the things that we don't appreciate today came from FDR and him helping us recover from the Great Depression. Goddamn, Wall Street's just been screwing the working man for eons now. But I wanted to specifically use a moment to play some of FDR's own words, take a look at his speeches, because too often, maybe you at work, you go to work and, you know, you hear about budgets or labor hours or we can't afford it. But then if you look up how much your CEO makes, you hear, oh, he made $100 million last year. Well, how come we can afford CEOs to make hundreds of millions of dollars, but we can't afford basic shit like enough people employed? So if you're sick, there's more than one person to call. Whatever works at your place maybe doesn't need an upgrade, a computer, a printer. Just think about that basic stuff. And if you don't want to think about that, you know how some of these companies won't reinvest. If you've ever been into a fast food place or a restaurant or something and it just looks a little grimy, don't you always wonder how they can afford stock buybacks, which, by the way, were illegal until Ronald Reagan made them legal again. And those are just artificially inflating the price of their own stocks. That's why they were illegal. But this is really for people to become conscious of how we got here and why a living wage was meant to be the minimum wage. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I feel like LeVar Burton right now in Reading Rainbow. Don't take my word for it. It's in a book. It is in a book, though. I'm not joking. It's also on YouTube. We're going to listen to FDR in his own words. Are you ready for some 1930s white male jargon? I do love this, though. I do love it. So before we get to Donald Trump potentially sacrificing Ukraine for his best friend, his enigma, wonderful, secret, whispering friend who ran the largest pedo ring in the history of Earth. I mean, you want to talk about Illuminati? I think this fits all the checks all the boxes, right? Frankie Smith, hello. Bye, Felicia. But before we do that, this is important. And I know this is educational, so we'll try to make it a little bit fun. But just think, for all those maggots out there, all the people who say, you know, if you flip burgers, you shouldn't be able to afford food, and you should suffer, and you shouldn't have to be guaranteed sick time. And what else do they say? They say heinous things about people in their own community. Or they say stuff like, oh, it's a job for teenagers. And I always like to go, oh, really? So McDonald's closes during school hours? Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know Target was a job for teenagers, where I more often see retired people working than teens. And if it is a job for teenagers, I wish I had rebutted this at the Massachusetts State House when I was testifying. But when these corporate lobbyists say things like, you know, it's meant for entry-level work job. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. If you think it's a job for teens to get their foot in the door, it is absolutely 100% not, because number one, none of these stores close during school hours. So just use that next time someone tells you it's a job for teens. Look at them dead in the eye and tell them, man, you are stupider than you look. So listen, before we play FDR's, if you never heard of FDR, he was our president. He helped us recover, and he said some wildly woke stuff. Wildly woke stuff. He made a speech in '33 during the Industrial Recovery Act, and this is the one I always cite about. You can see living wages there. But before we get into his stuff, okay? Hold on. Wait a minute. What's this meme? Trump promised lower grocery prices on day one. Here's what happened. Approximately 75% of all food imported to the U.S. will now be something hit with the Trump tariffs. 163 billion worth of food currently facing tariff rates ranging from 10 to 30% or higher. When we just could have taxed billionaires, folks. They don't need the money. They have billions. It's in the name. And we're going to get to this. Is Tronald Dump sacrificing Ukraine to distract from his relationship, his close, friendly relationship with old Jeff Epstein? We're going to talk about that. Oh yeah, and I just want to point this out again. Remember, he flew on Air Force One to Scotland. He spent the weekend at his golf club, where we paid for him to spend it there, and then opened a new golf course, and it cost us $10 million. So, don't want to hear about budgets. So he's preparing to meet with Putin. But where is it? Where is it? Where is the? Here we go. Is this it? So FDR discussed a lot of stuff, and I linked all these articles, everything I plan to talk about, down below. There's a great article from Pepperdine University, Christian school. And even look at this. FDR wanted to put a cost of food law to place a ceiling on the prices a consumer will have to pay for the food he buys. How woke is that? That's FDR in the 30s. For all you people who support Jeff Bezos hustling you out of your hard-earned cash. But we're going to play his second Bill of Rights. I just wanted to post this so you know what it looks like. A link to the video down below. You could share it with all your friends, your family. Maybe your grandma, had a crush on him. He was in like Depression Beat magazine or something. And they were like, who's the hot, depressed dads of the 30s? So share this around. But before we play this audio, I wanted to play you a bit from a speech where FDR was probably called woke by some maggots in the 30s. And he says this, listen.
You may have heard for 6 years that I was about to plunge the nation into war, that you and your little brothers would be sent to the bloody fields of battle in Europe. that I was driving the nation into bankruptcy, and that I breakfasted every morning on a dish of grilled millionaire.
Did you hear that? FDR is giving a speech and he says, you might have heard. This is the propaganda from the 30s, which is brilliant. We got to bring this back. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am Rob. I'm your official YouTube vibe coach. We do newsmentary. We joke about the news because the news, you know, is a joke. But FDR said, you might have heard about me, that I dine every breakfast on grilled millionaires. Grilled millionaires. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, is that not just heart fulfilling? Is that not just absolutely heartwarming? I mean, when you think there's no hope, just think. This guy right here was talking about making fun of the people propagandizing against him because the robber barons and the titans of industry in his day were absolutely terrified about a minimum wage. Before him, there was no minimum wage. And that he was fighting for the working people, trying to get them out of the Great Depression, right? Investing in infrastructure, roads, huge public works, putting everybody to work. And these titans of industry were terrified of him. So in a speech, what I just played, he says, you might have heard that I have grilled millionaire for breakfast. I want a t-shirt that says, Damn, that's good. All right, now we're going to play this video, okay? I would like... Oh, shit. Sorry, the chat was stuck. I'm very sorry. Anonymous, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What, your comment? Shut up. People would starve with no money. Hitler rose to power because he was a great painter. What's the Bob Ross show? Hold on, what's the Bob Ross show? Bob Ross show. What is the show? What was it called? What was it called? The Joy of Painting. Yeah, Hitler had a public access show called The Reich of Painting. That's how he rose to power. The teddy bear. No, that was his cousin. Do you go to work? Robin, shut up. How about that? Shut up. Hold on. Billionaires own the businesses you're complaining about. We got a Captain Obvious in the chat. Thank you, Chris, pointing out the obvious. When does McCankles not go golfing? Yeah, right out in Homa. Look up Frances Perkins. FDR got his best ideas from her. Interesting. Okay. Frances Perkins. Oh, that's a 1930s lady if I have ever seen one. Secretary of Labor from 1933 to 1945. Who said that? Meng Hao, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you. I love getting insight from other people. Thank you, Mr. President, for all you do. You talking to FDR? You should be thanking him. Hi from New Zealand, Sue Cook. Oh my God, Sue. Hello, my Kiwi friend. I did not save this article because I wanted to play some FDR. We're going to play his second Bill of Rights. FDR believed that we should, as Americans, have a second Bill of Rights. Kind of like Martin Luther King's economic Bill of Rights. This is, or no. FDR's was a economic Bill of Rights. But anyways, New Zealand, I was just reading a story about someone that came to America from New Zealand and was detained for 3 weeks. I think it was a mother and a child. But again, I wasn't planning on talking about that. I can find it. I don't know if you've heard about it, but horrifying. And if you're a Kiwi, just stay in New Zealand. You got a beautiful country. I've never been there, but I've heard, I've seen in The Lord of the Rings. Just stay. Don't come to New England right now. Meng Hao, eat the rich. Yes, 100%. Grilled millionaires. That's what we eat here, folks. Trump is strong like a bull. Well, let's face it, you got to be pretty strong to do that. Yeah, I'd say he's got no gag reflex. That's what I'd say. And if you're going to come into this channel and defend This guy, his best friend, just know we don't tolerate it. We're haters, as they like to say. We hate what these two men do to women and children. So just be warned. Just be warned. Look at this. That's the other thing I want to point out. House insurance just jumped from $3,000 to $5,500, almost double. No claims, no change. What's going on? And then Jason, support Canada. You may not believe in climate change, but insurance companies do, oil companies do, and the world's investors do. But they've tricked you, you know. We could start a whole, that's why I don't understand why we don't have a new Green Deal. We could have absolutely amazing jobs that would last for so long going into renewable energies. But somehow people that aren't oil barons are like, not in my country. I want to use that dinosaur juice. Okay, till it runs out. Okay, let me try to catch up on the comments, and then we're going to play FDR, his second Bill of Rights. And again, I link all this stuff. Timothy Travis, you know it, the GOP, Guardians of PDF Files. By the way, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? Here's your GOP, folks. Don't be a Democrat, don't be a Republican. But, like, if you got to choose, like, really don't be a Republican. They are heinous, heinous folks. Unless this represents you, which if it does, get out of my life, leave. If you are like, yeah, these are my people, then go. You're a horrible human. Go turn yourself in. But, and by the way, yesterday some dude was on here bragging about gas dropping by 60 cents. And if you go to Reddit, they say the gas prices in Wyoming are almost at $5. This was a video on Reddit. Did you guys see? I'm going to play FDR in a minute. I'm just hitting some headlines. I don't know if you saw Gavin Newsom's tweets. By the way, we're going to read his tweet real quick. Do you guys remember when, like, a week or two ago, I said, you want to have fun with people? Anytime you write an email or a text or a tweet or share something, I said, at the end, in all caps, say, thank you for your attention to this matter, mocking the president. But it also is just a funny ass thing to say. You sound like some boss who's telling everybody to work on the weekend. And look at, I don't know if Gavin Newsom watches my lives. If so, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Keep coming back, Gavin. But he obviously caught wind of what I was telling people to do a few weeks ago. And let's read. Gavin Newsom's governor press office says when Speaker, quote, Little Man Johnson is standing in the, quote, unemployment line, he can thank Donald Taco J. Trump. Remember, the J stands for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. He didn't put that in there. But again, Newsom, you got to keep coming back. I'm sharing new stuff all the time. Trump missed a simple deadline, something he has often done with his many failed businesses. Now California will fire him with new, more beautiful maps. Highly anticipated historic press conference with your favorite governor, Gavin Christopher Newsom. Thank you for your attention to this matter. GCN. Now listen, there's some of you who are regulars, right? You've hit subscribe, you hit the notification bell. I know Alma can vouch for me. Bandito, Timothy, CJ, Solus, Chief. You guys can vouch for me. I was telling people to say thank you for your attention to this matter in all caps at the end of every email and text that they sent, like weeks ago. Weeks ago. He's deliberately ignoring truth. Are you talking about Trump, James Lolly? Because yes, Trump lies. Like, that's the only thing he's good at. And again, Timothy, if someone's claiming that gas is really cheap, just share photos, a video. You have a YouTube account, just post a short. That's it. A short, dated today. Go take a video of it. You can get to any gas station at any time. They almost never close. So instead of, pretending like the guy yesterday who's like, oh, gas dropped 60 cents by me. And it was like, okay, share a news article, a photo. You have a YouTube account. All you got to do is post. Oh, my God. Hold on. We're going to take a timeout. Bunk Bed Coffin is here. We're timing out. We're timing out. This is the guy I've been telling you about. He's in the chat right now. If you're watching this later, go to live stream chat or search at Bunk Bed, like the thing you sleep in, Coffin, like this thing you sleep in for, ever. Bunk Bed Coffin. I need to take a time out here. Stop with the politics, because music is the way we defeat the maggots and the corporate elitists. But no joke, I got to be very serious. Bunk Bed Coffin is one of the greatest artists on this platform. Don't believe me? Go to his YouTube channel right now, hit subscribe, go listen to his stuff. He does a mashup. My favorite mashup is, what is it? It's the two. I have it saved in my favorites. I don't know if my favorites are public or my liked videos, but you could check it out. Please go not only support local creators, but support people who are creating radical art. He is on streaming. I got his stuff on iTunes. So I just had to take a minute because Bunk Bed Coffin. I don't know why I keep calling him Cotton. No, Bunk Bed, you were doing incredible work. And if you like the style of grunge and Nirvana and Kurt, I'm telling you, this artist is for you. I feel like that genre died in, what was it, April something, 1994, when Kurt left this planet, rest in peace. And Bunk Bed is reviving it. So please check out Bunk Bed Coffin. I promise you, if you're into grunge and that 90s post-punk, still have that angst, anxiety, but less hope for change, if you have that craving, Bunk Bed Coffin is the fucking man. He is doing it so well, so well. All right, now let's get back to it. Rodney Shan, and thank you, Bunk Bed, for stopping by the live. I'm here every single weekday. I'm your vibe coach. I'm Rob. We joke about the news. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. Who's making fun of being a vegan? Vegan food is amazing. Missed the 90s. Yes, Alma. If you missed the 90s, go listen to Bunk Bed Coffin. I'll reshare. I've shared it in my community before. He does a mashup of 2 Nirvana songs, and it's so insanely catchy. And I wish, you know what? I wonder if I'll get tagged if I play it. I don't want to get tagged, but I always wonder that. Hold on. I want to pull up, because if I can find Bunk Bed Cotton's YouTube channel, and I know it's in the shorts, I hope I don't get tagged on this. I'd rather be offensive than gullible. Yeah, right? Well, I love the F your feelings crowd when they get upset about stuff. It's like, guys, you were actively trying to oppress other people and cheering on like an authoritarian. Where is it? I want to play it. Is it, God, it's got to be a little far, way back. But we're going to play FDR. In a second, okay? And I wish more YouTubers would do this, by the way. I wish more YouTubers would be like, hey, listen, I found this small artist that's fucking amazing, and shared that stuff. So support Bunk Bed Coffin. He's in the chat. Go to his channel. It's just at Bunk Bed Coffin. Where is it? I wish I knew he was going to stop by, because I would have had this lined up. Now, my apologies to everybody. I don't care if I'm losing people in the chat. Keep scrolling. This is worth it. Bunk Bed, what is the one where you mix the 2 Nirvana songs? It's not the most recent one. It's very old. It's very old. Shit, and there's no dates on these. You do Teenage Dirtbag cover? Yo, that's my buddy, Brendan, with Smells Like Dumb. Is it Smells Like Dumb? No. Hold on. No. Where did it go? Here we go. Let me see. No, it's not that. Oh no, and it went all the way back. I'm sorry. I might have a few. You do have a few, but it's not Smells Like Dumb, and it's before that. I wish I could find it right now. Because I'm telling you, this cover that you do, is it like a Come As You Are cover? Not cover, I mean, Sappy cover's really good. Jesus don't want me for a sunbeam. It's a mashup, and it's so good. And you guys are gonna wait, okay? All 100 of you. I'm very sorry. We had 200 people here, but I'm telling you, I promise you, your ears are gonna. Is it Smells Like Dumb? No, that's what I was just playing. No, stop doing that, Rob. All right. We're gonna get to it. We're trying to look for Bunk Bed Cotton is here. Bunk Bed Coffin is in the chat, and he does some amazing work. You have to check out his original stuff. Oh my God, is it not a short? I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. I don't think it's a short. I don't think it's a short. Oh, he does. They Hung Him on a Cross. Amazing song. No, don't change your name. We already went over this. He did a poll about changing his name. I'm telling you. Where is it? I told him, listen, this is how good this mashup is. I told him, I wrote Chris Novoselic, who now is in Seattle politics and Washington politics, but he was the basis for Nirvana. And for my birthday last year, I wrote Chris. I never thought he'd write me back. I just wrote him a letter. Just want to say thank you for the impact you made in my life, and how Heart-Shaped Coffin. I think it's it. I won't get tagged for this, right? I don't know if I'm gonna get Bunk Bed. Do you know if I'm gonna get hit with the thing? You know, I really don't want to, but I don't want to get tagged. I think because it's a mashup, it should be fine. I'm gonna just play a little bit of this, so just so you know, this is Bunk Bed Coffin. I'm killing myself. But he is here. I'm so honored. This is like meeting a celebrity for me. Bunk Bed Coffin is in the chat. Please go subscribe to him. I know I'm a psycho. I tell people not to subscribe to my channel if you're racist or homophobic or sexist or anti-women or whatever. And I'll spend more time. I'll remember more to tell people to go to other people's channels than I will my own. So hit subscribe and then go find Bunk Bed Coffin. I'm going to play a little bit of this because this is such a good mashup. It's called Heart-Shaped Coffin. Are you ready? Are you f***ing ready? Oh, I'm so scared I'm going to get hit with something. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I just don't want to get tagged, but I need to get to the chorus of this. Oh, hold on. Here it is. Ready? This is so fucking good. He's so good. You don't understand, all right? For someone who came from the 90s, who was there when Kurt was alive and Pac was alive, this is like satisfying to the soul. And once you start hearing the original stuff, you go, God damn, what if? So we had to take a moment. I had to show you that because when else do I get, Bunk Bed Coffin in the live stream? Holy smokes. All right, folks, I promised you, what are people saying in the chat? Trump and Epstein again, how boring. Shut up, heavy duty. Release the files, okay? Oh, bunk bed. I'm a small channel. You got a big channel, but I have to share. Listen, it's like if you found something that was so magical and so good, right? And you knew it could bring solace to other people. Cause like if when I'm listen, if I'm feeling, like I just whatever, and I throw that in on the car, telling you, everything goes away. All the pain goes away. So music is healing. Universal Muppet Group. What is that breakthrough? Did the Muppets start a corporation? Is that a new movie? Is that a plot for a new movie? I love the Muppets. The best stuff on YouTube have the lowest numbers. Yeah, bunk bed. I've always said that YouTube should implement some kind of filter system like Zillow has, where you can look for video or channels with like 0 to 100, 0 to 10,000, 0 to 100,000. And I think that would help because you want to find people who, I don't want to have YouTube regurgitate the same old rubbish to me again and again. But we're going to talk about America is basically becoming a corporate communist state where the communists of these corporations want to get rid of the state. You might have heard one of your white 20-something-year-old male friends claim to be a libertarian. With that, usually they'll define it as like they like small government, but they don't. They don't want small government. They want a government that enacts their will. They want to regulate who you can marry. They want to regulate what bathrooms you can use. They want to regulate women's bodies. So they don't believe in a small government. They just believe in utilizing the government to implement the things that they want implemented. But really what it is more of a corporate communism. And I'm going to put this on full display in a second because we're going to listen to FDR. You might remember him as that great president right out of the 30s. This guy. And I linked the video down below. And he wanted to push for a second Bill of Rights, which I'm very curious for everybody in the chat. I want you to hear what his second Bill of Rights would be. Okay, I'm going to play that right now. This is public domain, so I'm not worried about this one. And I want to hear who would be against this. Because unless you're Jeff Bezos or something like that in the chat, like you really shouldn't be against this. So here is FDR's second Bill of Rights speech.
In our day, certain economic proofs have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed.
Regardless of station, race, or creed, FDR says he would like to implement a second Bill of Rights. Well, let's hear what FDR is thinking about.
Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation.
Did you hear that? The right to a remunerative job? I don't even know. What the fuck were they talking about in the 30s? But enough to earn from that job, food, housing, and he even said recreation. So for all you people who think that if you flip burgers for a living, you shouldn't be able to go on vacation, FDR disagrees with you. It would be incredible to play this for people like Tucker Carlson and listen to him freak out. Charlie Kirk call FDR woke, part of the socialist mob. No, we never had a socialist president. In fact, the one time Eugene Debs ran for president, they put him in jail. He ran for president from a prison cell. The only socialist to try and do it. God bless him.
The right of every farmer to raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living.
A decent living. Every farmer deserves a decent living, FDR said. God bless him. There must have been a bunch of farmers back then.
The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad. Freedom
against monopolies at home and abroad. Do you hear that, Jeff Bezos? If you guys don't know how Jeff Bezos came to power, it's really fascinating. And the YouTube channel Hysteria does a This Fucking Guy podcast where they discuss his come up and Jeff Bezos undercutting the competition like Zappos, which I used to use, Toys R Us, all these different huge stores. And they undersold them to take a loss, but the vision on the vision board. I'm your official vibe coach. I always tell people have like a 1 month, 1 year, 5 plan vision. And then if you want to get really crazy with it, a 10-year vision for what you want to do and be at that time. And Jeff Bezos' Amazon, their vision was to undersell the competition, to drive them out of business, to buy up that business, and to basically consume them and do that again and again and again. And that's why my kids will say, Dad, Jeff Bezos killed Jeffrey the giraffe, right? And I go, you bet your sweet bottom dollar he did. He killed all of those toy stores. They basically don't exist anymore, except I heard in Canada, which God bless you, Canada.
The right of every family to a decent home.
The right of every family to a decent home? FDR's woke. He thinks every family should have a decent home. This is FDR's words, not mine, folks. We'll look at, I link down below.
The right to adequate medical care.
FDR said the right to adequate medical care. He's woke. FDR was woke. He was woke as fuck, man. Good on FDR. He thought we should have adequate medical care.
And the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health.
The opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. It's funny. He didn't say to pay more for your health insurance while your life expectancy is declining. FDR did not say you should pay more for the cost of your health care while your life expectancy declines. Didn't say that. Let's hear that again.
Decent home.
Decent home.
The right to adequate medical care. And the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health.
To achieve and enjoy good health. Well, what's stopping you? I hear the MAGA saying. Well, I don't know. United Healthcare CEO. Free Luigi. Innocent till proven guilty. Suck it.
The right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age.
Old age. No old folks eating cat food. No retired folks bagging your stuff at the Target or the grocery store. They should be protected in their retirement. God bless you, FDR, my favorite president.
Sickness, accident, and unemployment. The right to a good education.
Did he just say the right to a good education? This fucking guy. What is he, Lenin? My Christ. I want you guys to, jury nullification, look it up, folks, especially if you're in New York. FDR was the best. Zozan. Jimmy, affordable drugs, recreation, and medicinal. Solidarity, Jimmy. Now we're talking, now the chat is spicing up. I like it. What could you add to the second Bill of Rights? What would you add? Feel free to think of your own stuff, guys. You're only limited by your own creativity. And the Roosevelts did know what civil service meant. Thank you, CJ. Oh, Robin, you say stuff like that. It just shows what a sad, sad human you are. Sad human. You think Elon Musk is worth $29 billion? He just got approved a $29 billion pay package. And remember, the past 6 months, he wasn't at Tesla. He was in the government, laying people off and causing $14 billion in fraud by paying people to stay at home. But some people are just, they're only satiated by others' suffering, and that's really what you put on full display.
All of these rights spell security.
All of these rights spell security. Now, for you, what would you call it? People who like to spell. For you spelling bee-aholics at home, you'd understand that it literally didn't spell security. But all of those things in tandem, working together, the right to recreation, housing, to achieve and enjoy good health, that would mean your country is better. And we're going to take a look at this stuff. God bless FDR.
And after this war is won, we must be prepared to move forward in the implementation of these rights to new goals of human happiness and well-being.
New goals of human happiness and well-being. That's a president speaking. When have you ever heard Tronald Dump say anything like that? ever in his life, except to Ghislaine Maxwell, where he was like, I wish her well. And they were like, she's in prison for trafficking children. And he was like, I wish a lot of people well, like her. We could have this energy again if Bernie didn't get screwed in 2016. Orpheus, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Orpheus. Yeah, and that's why I say, like, the Democratic Party as a whole, it's okay to defeat a more evil party like these rat publicans, but all in all, that shouldn't be like the goal. You know, like the Democrats is not the goal. We need a working party, a socialist movement, a party where billionaires are taxed into extinction. You know, they're just gonna have to be satiated being 999 millionaires. And when we use that money for all of us to have health care, you know, it's weird that they're predicting Elon Musk in a few years will be a trillionaire, but somehow people in the chat will debate about just giving healthcare to old people, young people, and all people, all people, all people. Let's keep it at that. Darren K, correct. I started calling him today Tronald Dump. He loves nicknames. I'm sure he'll love that one. Tronald Dump. And the other thing, I want to play this for you. I don't know if you guys listen to the Daily Beast podcast that's here on YouTube, link down in the description. But this lady, I don't even know what her name is. She hosts the Daily Beast podcast, right? And she's been having on Michael Wolff, who like has insiders in the White House. He did Trump's first book. He knows about this White House, like knows it well, and he gets leaks all the time. And he was talking about, where is it? Hold on. Oh, did you guys see this? Yo, for all my migrant friends out there, just you gotta cover yourself in the Epstein files, and no one will be able to see you. Dan Vagina will be like, it doesn't exist. The other thing is, I want to remind people, he can't live forever. He just can't. You know, everybody gets old, and especially in America, on a steady diet of McDonald's and with the horrible healthcare we have. Like, he can't live forever. What are you gonna do? God bless FDR. It's hard to think people talked that way in the 30s. I mean, can you imagine what dirty talk must have been back then? Steve Romont, 87. I didn't know you were going there. It's like, yeah, could you imagine a president who's saying, like, you know, everyone deserves a house and health care and recreation? And Steve's like, what was their dirty talk? It was like, you want to remunerate my balls? Or whatever he said. Remunerate. I don't remember what word he said. Hi. Oh, God. What does your handle say? I can't read that. What is that? Elfish? Is that Lord of the Rings elf? What does your name say? Thomas S. I love these. I love when these comments come in. Thomas S. says, this bro's uneducated about the reality of the world. While I'm playing FDR for him. Free education? I love it. People, you've been, you guys have been indoctrinated to think your suffering is something you should be thankful for. And I'm here to wake you up. Okay, I'm Rob. I'm your vibe coach. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here to wake you up and to understand that, like, whatever you're tolerating at work, when they're like, oh, just be thankful you got a job, you tell them, go fuck yourself. You know, you should be thankful that we all haven't come together and decided that billionaires shouldn't exist anymore. Oh, Earl, you guys are so dumb. You understand everything in society is just made up. It's all make-believe. Everybody made it up. They call today Wednesday. Why? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. If we all decided tomorrow that we're not going to call it Wednesday anymore, and we're going to call it FDR's Day, then that's what we would fucking do. And you'd go along with it, you sheep. What I'm trying to do is get people to break out of the mold and stop thinking that, oh, I have to earn my sick time. I get 1 hour for every 30 hours I work and like be satisfied with that? Like, are you kidding me? Do you think the CEOs earn their sick time? They don't. Okay. I don't even know if they clock in. Have you ever seen a CEO clock in? All right. This is Sergeant Hugo Stiz, LMFAO, the band. I'm assuming that's what he says. Bro is definitely saying what's been on my mind. I know. I've been in your mind. Badgers are badass. What is happening in the chat? Billionaires love folks. Breakthrough. They totally do. Hey, by the way, did everybody get their Doge check? What are you spending it on? Remember when Elon was in the government as a special employee, firing everybody and telling them, hey, just stay at home. We'll pay you to stay at home, while he was campaigning on efficiency, while he was telling people, we'll pay you to stay at home. And then you guys were cheering him on for finding efficient ways to run the government. Still hilarious to me that like we're that stupid as a nation. Like we're that dumb. People were like, Elon's paying people to stay home in the name of efficiency. Like really, when you say it out loud, maybe, I don't know, go stand in the mirror and say, I appreciated Elon paying government employees to stay home for 8 months, wasting $14 billion in government employees to stay home for 8 months while I called him an efficient boss. Uh-oh, somebody's here. Somebody's here. Uh-oh. Now you made her mad. This is Ghost. My CEO hunter. I have a CEO hunter. Do you guys have one? This is my little CEO hunter. Oh, that's what I was saying. You know how some people know of Grumpy Cat? I have Smug Cat. Isn't that right? Yes, I love you. He says, I'm hungry. Hungry for CEOs. Yum, 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 yum. Just got to keep working on the training. Steve Roma, Elon can't get to Mars quick enough. Amen to that. You know what I always say? If he wants to put chips in people's brains, if he wants to do Neuralink and go to Mars, I say he should be the first one. Let's chip that dude's brain, put him in one of those SpaceX rockets, and shoot him up there and say, Elon, have a fucking blast, bro. Put the chip in your brain so you can Google anything with your, you can get paywalls to try and not read articles in your mind, and we'll send you to Mars. You're welcome. We will do it. I'll give you all the taxpayer money to send him to fucking Mars. Here we got somebody saying Trump is the GOAT. All right, we got to point it out to them. We got to do it. We got to do it. You support this guy. You're supporting Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Just remember that. Every time you say something good about Trump, what everybody else hears is that you are like, I love Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump, the taco. I love that guy. I have no problem that he wished Ghislaine Maxwell well, and I have no problem that he moved her to Clump Fed. In fact, I support all this stuff. That's what you're saying. So every time that you talk about supporting Trump, just know that we all hear it as you support this. You support the Lolita Express with Larry Summers and Bill Clinton. We know that you support all the spy cameras in Epstein's house that we went over. We had photos of, so hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Just know that when you say that, this is who you're supporting, okay? You just got to be very clear. We got to call these people out right away. I always take a break when somebody comes in here and says, whatever about Trump, whether it's Trump 2028, MAGA, he's a goat, which maybe they just mean he's like a literal goat and probably eats anything. I don't know if you've seen this picture. But just know, you're saying it thinking like, oh, I'm hot shit, I'm a troll, I own the libs. And really the only thing you're owning is supporting the biggest trafficking ring in human history. So just remember that. Just remember that. Hi, I know you don't like them, do you? You hate those predators. One day when you're 6 foot tall and you're big enough, I'm trying to breed cats the size of tigers and cats the size of kittens. I'd like to breed them all. Hold on. Philip Sarek, the CEOs add nothing either. Workers can lead the companies just as good. That's right. Sorry, I have a cat on my shoulder. Oh, I love the people talking about Kamala. Guys, you're going to have to cope harder. Keep puffing that copium. Is it a Russian blue? That's what I thought. It's a nebulon, I think. A nebulon. It does look like a Russian blue, doesn't it? I love it. I got Smug Cat. Not Grumpy Cat. This is Smug Cat. Hey, little lady. You're so cute. Go play. George Costanza. Let me just say, because, there's some new people here. Hit subscribe, notification bell. When you say stuff like voting for Kamala would have been the death of our country, you neglect the fact that Donald Trump is not only the death of our country, hurting the working people, hurting all these people, but he's also protecting the predators. When he's sending people, he's not sending his best. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We got to talk about this. I got to play this clip. From now listen, guys, I know everybody obsesses about past presidents, not in the good way like I do about FDR, but in like Biden and Kamala. But even that Biden is the same age as Trump, when you guys call him old, I just have to highlight that, because you guys are like, oh, he's so old. And it's like, have you seen Mick Cankles? Have you not seen his cankles? Tronald Dump's ankles have muffin tops, okay? Have you seen him drink water? Have you seen the way he drinks water? Anyways. But at this point, anything would be better than this dude. This dude is human garbage. He's protecting. He just moved Ghislaine Maxwell out of the security prison she was in to the low security one where there's no walls. She could just leave if she wants. She's a heinous person. Go look up her crimes. You guys are morons. Sergeant Hugo Stiggs. I don't even know why they bring up her. She literally has nothing. They only do it because they really can't like handle the fact that, he was his best friend, Epstein's best friend. It was Trump specifically that moved her. They broke rules to move her. Broke rules. Like, she wasn't supposed to go there. And I don't know if you know about this, but nothing happens without his say-so. I don't know if you think there's a secret president running things or J.D. Vance calling the shots, but nothing happens without his say-so. But that's cute of you to try to pretend like, was it directly him? Do you have proof? This is adorable, your logic. What are you, going into 10th grade? What are you fucking done? There he is, Chief. What up? Chief. Chief's here. Good to see you, Chief. Chief, you're making it just in time. For all of you who are wondering, wow, Putin's going to have a new dog? He's going to have a new puppy this Friday? He's going to have this Tronald dump on a leash soon? No, this is another distraction. Another distraction. And as Michael Wolff, I'm about to play a clip of Michael Wolff on the Daily Beast podcast, link down below. Oh, hold on. Sorry, she's trying to sit in my lap. Bunk bed Coffin was legit. Kelly Brown, you are welcome. He is very legit. Absolute amazing artist. Oh man, I'm missing some of these chats. I'm sorry. I'm missing some of these. And it looks like you guys are having fun in the chat. Damn, I feel like I'm missing out. Chris Rhodes, are you serious? Trump is doing well for the union. Arguing over trivial shit is what the corporate money wants, I'm guessing. You're kidding, right? Like, he's putting businesses, small businesses, which I've shown on this channel, hit subscribe and the notification bell, out of business because of his tariffs. And then if you give him a gold brick, like Apple did, he's extending tariffs to not let you be affected. He is absolutely horrible. He is what is corporate communism. He's just wanting the corporations to be able to eradicate your private property. Like, this is what people should be fearing, corporate communism. the fact that the government is being dissembled by this turd right now. So all the services that it provides are going to be eroded. And what's going to happen is, because he's stripping workers' rights and put a union buster in at the head of the NLRB, corporations are going to take over. And I think BlackRock or Blackstone is one of the largest landlords in America. One of the largest, okay? We have corporate landlords here. So they're going to try to eradicate your private property. They want everything. Like, greed is not even a satiating word for what these people have. Like in Greek has like 5 words for love, because there's different kinds of love, which makes sense, which I wish, America did something like that. But greed is not a strong enough word for what these guys want. When Joe Rogan told you Elon has $1 billion, he doesn't want your money, I wish anybody could have just retorted to him and been like, how do you think he got $1 billion? How do you think his companies run? Do you not understand that he's getting massive loans and massive gifts and massive tax subsidies from us, the taxpayer? Do you not understand that he exploits his workers? He's not worth 29 billion, but somehow not working at Tesla and tanking their stock for the past 6 months got him a $29 billion pay package. The system is rigged, folks. It is 100% rigged. Oh, it makes me so angry. But hold on. We got to focus. We have to focus, because I want to play this clip for you. I have to play what this Putin summit is about. It's a distraction from the Epstein files, because MAGA base, the Cash Money Patels and the Dan Vaginas, the Dan Oingo Boingos, they were all rabid for it, right? And then they realized, oh shit, there wasn't just videos and photos of them together and him being in the black book and being on the plane 7 times, but there's probably something really heinous in there that he doesn't want to get out. That's why he used their taxpayer funded money to use the FBI agents to black out his name throughout all the files, right? That's why he spent a lot of money to do that. Well, here's a guy named Michael Wolff who can give you insights to all this. That's why I highly encourage you to check out the Daily Beast YouTube channel that is linked down below with this video, and you can listen to it for yourself. And Michael Wolff specifically says MAGA's not giving up. They want the Epstein files, even though in the chat some of these simps act like, oh, it's Clinton. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'm sure if he, Clinton was president, you guys would be begging for him. But Michael Wolff specifically theorizes that this summit is a distraction to get the news and everyone to stop talking about how Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Because they were best friends. Donald Trump, Tronald Dump, and Jeff Epstein were best friends. And to get everyone to stop talking about that, and what he theorizes is this. I'm going to play it for you.
Yes. So, in other words, he's going to sacrifice Ukraine for Epstein. Essentially,
he's going to sacrifice Ukraine.
This is in
Epstein.
his mind a trade. It is the MAGA people who have pressed this Epstein issue constantly. I mean, they're the threat. It's not really the liberals who are the threat. It's the MAGA people. So he will trade out, and he knows, he understands how exposed he is on Epstein. So he will trade out for a trade Epstein for Ukraine.
And you're getting this from exclusive conversations you've had with people in the White House.
Yes, I mean, and so this is what now.
So again, this is Michael Wolff, the guy who wrote his first book about Trump, a decade ago or whatever. Sorry, I have a cat on my shoulder. My apologies, folks. I have a cat on my shoulder. So this is Michael Wolff who's talking about it with the Daily Beast YouTube channel host. What are you doing? I mean, seriously. It's like cats just want to go exactly where you're like, please don't go there right now. Emperor King, he's not a trustworthy source. Yeah, he's just the guy Trump let write a book on him. You're right, he's totally not trustworthy. Some of you guys are so stupid. Keep opening your mouths. It's hilarious. Kamala, Philip, I do not. I would rather her in right now than Donald Trump because of how much power Donald Trump is giving to the deep state corporations like Tim Apple. That's what Donald called them. The stable genius called Tim Cook Tim Apple. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. I mean, he turned the White House lawn into a Tesla lot, and then said you're going to be charged with terrorism if you graffiti a Tesla. Like, this is basically the weakest, most fragile man running things. You all know somebody like that, right? Like, you can't tease him, you can't say anything about him where he goes like right for your throat and direct attacks you back. That's who this is. You know, this is not a tough guy. Donald Trump is not, you know, a macho man, even though he loves the village people. This is a very fragile, sensitive man who in interviews, again, you can watch this for yourself. Go watch the press interview Trump before he kicked out like the AP and had Tim Pool in the press. But watch the press interview him. Donald Trump himself, with no instigation, he'll be asked the question. He'll say, "You're not nice. Not nice. Aren't you a failing thing?" Like, what tough guy goes, "That's not a nice question"? Like, you sound like a wuss. You understand that? When you say that's not a nice question, like every time he says that, I crack up. I'm like, this is the president in real life, IRL, Tronald Dump. In real life, like being filmed, he knows this, and he'll say, "That's not a nice question." I'm like, you fucking puss bag. Shut your mouth, dude. You're making us look so weak in front of the world. There aren't many like, do you think Putin? I don't understand Russian, but do you ever think he goes, "That's not a nice question. I'm not talking to you"? Like, guys, this is surreal that you worship this dude like he's some tough guy. Christine Sherman, you're looking super fragile. You look like you're about to cry. Okay. That's not a nice comment. Aren't you from the failing YouTube channel, Christine Sherman? I'm just going to start answering people like Donald Trump. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm happy you know, but I think Kamala would have done worse. Oh, Jesus Christ. Guys, Kamala couldn't have done worse. Like, there's no worse than this. You understand me? Sending the military to against your own people? Getting rid of due process, putting tariffs, and then saying, like, you got a million deals. Like, there's no worse than this, guys. I don't like Kamala for a plethora of reasons. What I do like is she's a strong, independent black woman. I think America needs that. I know there's some people that are absolutely terrified. These strong guys, these proud boys are so terrified of a black woman. But you guys are just pussies. That's all. But her being the top cop and promising, I don't know how many times, to federally decriminalize cannabis is like, you know, enough for me to go, nah. Chief Josh, no one arguing with your goal is to be better, and this administration isn't the answer. Send in the military. Take back the cities from thugs. What? See, with comments like that, it makes me wish that higher education was free for everybody. Wait. I'm missing some of these chats. I'm sorry. James Lally is still here. This is another maggot Epstein supporter. These guys don't like when I critique their king, Tronald Dump. I don't know. Oh, Francis. Get the likes up. 176 in the chat, but only 50 likes. Come on, show your love. Well, it's because we got like some Albanian bot farm of all these people who need to feel like they got to defend Jeff Bezos and Tronald Dump. Breakthrough. Endorse the establishment 2028. Exactly. You don't think Donald Trump's the establishment? Does anybody not think? Do you guys really buy into like he's an outsider? He's a coastal elite Nepo baby from New York. Without Fred Trump, his daddy, he would have nothing. Like, you guys got played. Higher education is 100% part of the issue. Thank you, Mr. Jerry 101. But anyway, so that was the Daily Beast podcast. I highly encourage you guys to listen to the whole thing. It's a 29-minute podcast with Michael Wolff. Think what you want about him, but he wrote a book on Trump. He has insiders in the White House. He could tell you personally about, you know, Steve Bannon and all these characters around Donald Trump. Higher education for free, 100%. And I hope some of you heard FDR speak earlier with that second Bill of Rights. I wanted to pull up some of his speeches because you can. I showed you this. FDR wanted to put a cost of food law where they put a ceiling on the prices a consumer will have to pay for the food they buy. Here. There's the word. Remunerative. Damn, that's that 1930s language. This is the second economic Bill of Rights. And he said, oh, look at this up here. Freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. Necessitous men are not free. People who are hungry and out something of stuff, of which dictatorships are made. Sorry, I can't read that. My time is right there. But that's a very wise quote from FDR. That people who are hungry and tired and overworked and necessitous, slave labor, they are wage slaves where they have to work to keep their health care, to be scared into going homeless. That's how dictatorships are made. And that's where we are. And this, again, was almost 100 years ago. This was in the 1930s, or was this his speech from 44? Either way, this is an important history lesson. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I bring you this stuff because your 8th grade teacher thought you were a fuck up and didn't want to invest in you. And now here we are. You're 30-something years old, 50-something years old, and you don't know about FDR. Old vibe coach Rob comes along and says, come here. You sounding stupid in the comments. Let me teach you something. And it says, people who are hungry and out something. What does that say? Anybody read it to me? Out of stuff. Hold on. Wait, I have it on the fucking goddamn. Do I have it here? Where was it? Oh, hold on. Let me read this for you. The fact is the very contrary. It has been shown time and again that if the standard of living of any country goes up, so does its purchasing power. What do we talk about here on this channel? The economy is what? 70% of consumer purchasing power. That's you and I, 70%. Remember, Elon Musk can't go to your local favorite pizza shop and order pizza every Friday night. I mean, it could, but he can't do it in everyone's town. That's what makes up the economy, us doing stuff. 70%. So it's shown time again and again. Standard of living in any country goes up, so does the purchasing power. It's better for everyone. Stop letting the few elites, the coastal elites, Nepo babies like Donald Trump, tell you that, other people need to suffer for you to feel good about yourself. Hold on. Where, hold on. So it's not the 1944 speech, but hold on. Second Bill of Rights, FDR. I didn't bring it up. My Bill of Rights, FDR. And you can get this stuff from the FDR library. Oh, was it I think it was the State of the Union, 1944. I think that's what we're reading. My apologies, everybody. The economy is effed for construction in NYC right now. Justin J, won't you hire him, please, to please your wife? You know that Jeff Bezos, Elon, and Zuck could pay all our taxes, right? Yes. Resolve, yeet lord. Skibbity riz. There's a great video I have on my YouTube and TikTok, a short, where it's Warren Buffett talking about the taxes he paid, and he said if just all these corporations would pay, you'd never have to pay income tax again. But somehow they've tricked people, telling us what we want to hear, then removing resources for the poor and arresting the homeless. Yes, resolve, yeet lord. Are you new here? Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Come on back. I go live every single weekday. I'm YouTube's Republican vibe coach because these Charlie Kirk motherfuckers have zero vibes. Democratic Party is dead. I agree. It is. That's why we need a worker movement. The working people. That includes you, upper middle class. Don't think you're one of the billionaires. Okay, hold on. Let me get there. Where is... Oh. Ooh, a national service law. Hold on. That wasn't it. Hold on. Okay. We have come to a clear, I'm reading at the top, okay? Follow along, folks. This is FDR's 1944, was it State of the Union address? We're going over his second economic Bill of Rights. Somehow, 100 years later, we're worse off, and we're having the people in power, nepo, egotistical babies, not talk about any of this stuff. By the way, I'm still waiting. When is Tronald Dump's old DJT, Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend Trump, when is his tax audit done? Remember when he told all of us, he said, I'm just being audited, then I'm going to release my taxes? Anybody know when that's finished? I think that was 10 years ago. I think that was 10 years ago. Anybody know if Donald Trump's tax audit is done yet? Because he said right after that he's going to release his taxes. Anybody know? Anybody? Any of the MAGAs? And don't say you don't care, because I'm not asking if you care. I'm saying I've been waiting for a decade, because he said he's a man of his word, right? Speech was pre-1965 immigration reform. And your point? It's not 1944 anymore. No shit? Guys, your comments are, how do the French say it? Fucking dumb. Guys, we know it's not 1994, 44. Well, we know there's immigration going on, but what we're saying is Elon Musk might be a trillionaire in the next decade. A trillionaire. One guy can have $1 trillion, but all of us, including immigrants, by the way, what Native American tribe are you? If you're going to say, immigrants, what Native American tribe are you? I'll wait. Go and Google one so you could put it in there. Bam, bam. Not all homeless are drug addicts. You're right. And it doesn't matter if they're drug addicts or not. I showed you in Utopia for Realists, Rucker Bregman, the Dutch historian's book, that when Utah gave homes to the homeless, homelessness went down by 74%. All they had to do was provide them homes. And if you're wondering, oh, well, I don't want to pay for them from my tax dollars, criminalizing cost them, the taxpayers, $16,000 a month. Criminalizing homelessness cost them $16,000 a month. And when Utah just gave homes and counseling to the homeless, it only cost $11,000. So it actually saves you money. But go ahead. Now's the time where you can just say, I just hate people, and suffering is the only way I feel better. We need to dispel this stuff, because this stuff, has just been proven in history, and somehow people are still idiots. But it doesn't matter. I say whether you're an addict, mental health issues, it does not matter. Provide them homes, counseling, rehabs, reintegration programs into the community, and pay with it for our tax dollars. In fact, we could just tax billionaires into extinction. What has a billionaire done for you lately? I know you guys like to say they're job creators, but are those jobs good jobs, or are they shitty jobs where they demand you to come back to work even though they work from home? Oh, Christine, I'm so sorry that, you just have no empathy or fucking understanding of history. Again, the stuff I'm talking about is not up for debate. This was stuff that happened. Utah in, was it the 90s? I showed it. You could go back and watch my old live streams. But giving houses and counseling to the homeless saved the taxpayer money and eradicated homelessness. Gma's in the chat. Gma with the $10 super chat. Let's just take a moment to appreciate Gma. It's good to have you back. How is everything going? How you been? How is life? Remember, Gma, everything is made up. What I try to do as a vibe coach, YouTube's only official vibe coach. Did you hear that, YouTube? When I get my million sub plaque, I'm not gonna put vibe coach on it. I'm just gonna say thank you to my brother for the support, and then give him the plaque, because I don't need a trophy. I do this for the people. But Gma, we're trying to get people to think outside of the box. Right now, we're going over FDR's second Bill of Rights, and I was reading this. I didn't get to read it. Let's read it. I'm going to ignore the comments, except for Gma's. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat, Gma. This is important. This was in 1944 by FDR. He said, "We have come to a clear realization of the fact that true individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. Necessitous men are not free men. Men who are forced to work or scared to lose their house or health care. Those are not free men. This is FDR. This is a former US president saying this. This is wisdom, man. He says, people who are hungry and out of a job are the stuff which dictators are made of. Dictatorships. Do you hear that? FDR in 1944 said, people who are hungry and out of a job are the stuff of which dictatorships are made of. This is your former president and my former president. Tronald Dump, not my president. Remember when you guys said that? Not my president. You guys are so dumb. Oh. Sometimes I feel like Donald Trump is like a substitute kindergartner teacher, and like the MAGAs are just like the kindergarten classes. See one like picking his nose, the other one finger painting, and he's just like, I promise, once I'm done with the audit, I'll give my taxes. Once I'm president, I will I will give you guys the Epstein files. And you guys are like, stop eating the crayons on the paste, you morons. Or as my mom said, you maroons. She churched it up. So that's wisdom right there. Okay? Necessitous men are not free men. People who are hungry and out of a job are the stuff of which dictatorships are made. What are we in? All right, now real quick, because I played this for you. I played FDR saying this, but I want to go over it. These are the new Bill of Rights, the second Bill of Rights that FDR wanted to put into action. The right to a useful and remunerative, what does that mean? Remunerative job. The right to a job. The right to earn enough to provide adequate food, clothing, and recreation. For all you people who are like, you work as a burger flipper, you should have to suffer. You shouldn't get an iPhone. You shouldn't have avocado toast. FDR thought you should have recreation. Paid for by your employer, of course. Paid time off. The right of every farmer to raise and sell his products, at which in return will give him and his family a decent living. The right of every family to a decent home, the right of every businessman to be free of domination by monopolies, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the adequate to protection from the economic fields of old age, the right to a good education. All these rights spell security. The other thing I wanted to point out, this is the speech that I quoted. This is his speech from 1933, where I quoted him talking about living wages. For all of you who think corporations should dominate and they get to, with that Republican who said not all wages are meant to be a living wage. That guy was a full-on peacock with his plumage showing off how fucking dumb he was. I can't believe that guy was elected, but it shows more about the people electing people like that than it really does him, because you can't expect him to be a smart person. He's just good at grifting people into votes. I don't know who that Republican was, but you remember, he went on this big tirade. It went viral. He said, not all wages are meant to be a living wage. And I say, actually, if you know anything about America, when FDR put into law the minimum wage, 25 cents at the time. When he got it past the Supreme Court, when he got it past Congress, when he finally got that the minimum wage into action, protecting all people, raising the tide for all boats, he said this: any business that to be equally plain, that no business which depends for existence on paying less than living wages to its workers. I gotta bring it up here. Hold on. But you can read along at home if you could read. MAGA, if you can't, don't worry, I'll read it to you. And this is from the FDR library. So, in my inaugural, I laid down the simple proposition that nobody is going to starve in this country. It seems to me to be equally plain that no business which depends for existence on paying less than living wages to its workers has any right to continue in this country. He wouldn't think Amazon should continue, Facebook should continue, not only because of their monopolistic practices, but because any Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, none of them. The reason we have a minimum wage is because corporations were paying you less than that. If there wasn't one, they would pay you less than that. That's why there are states in this nation that still pay $7.25, the federal minimum wage, which hasn't changed since 2009. Understand? And FDR, the president, said any business that exists, depends on existence, on paying less than living wages to its workers, has any right to continue. He says if you can't pay workers a living wage, you shouldn't be in business. That's the president in 1933. And he says, by business, I mean the whole of commerce as well as the whole of industry. By workers, I mean all workers, the white collar class as well as the men in overalls. And by living wages, pay attention now, we're right here. And by living wages, I mean more than a bare subsistence level. I mean the wages of a decent living. And we all know what FDR meant by a decent living, by his second economic Bill of Rights, the right to food, housing, and, what was it? Recreation, that's right. Bam, bam, you go smoke. Call it cannabis, please. Don't call it marijuana. That was a racial term that they used in the racist drug war on Americans. But go smoke that cannabis. It's a medicine, so go take your medicine. That's what we say. Congress will once it's worse. And I don't know what that is. Yeah, James Jaddo. Yep, he hated the free market. Yeah, that's what James, like, if that's your interpretation, there's some things that can't fix stupid. You know, if you're not understanding that paying people, again, paying people a living wage so they have money to buy your products. I always thought this was funny. I was like, Starbucks keeps raising their prices, but if people aren't paid enough, then guess what? No one can buy that shit. You'll see in a few months. Just wait. Bandito with the super chat, $5. Holy schmoly. Let's just take a second to appreciate Bandito. I love you, buddy. Let's play some Fortnite, by the way. FDR came up with the New Deal. Yep, Chief. And we need a new deal, a new Green New Deal, and a new Deal, and a second economic Bill of Rights. Bam, bam, fire it up. I think my Cash App is in the link down below. Because yes, the overlords take their cut. The ones that leech are the ones that are kings. You know your place, worms. I just love commentary like that. Oh, it sounds like a fucking haiku. The ones that leech are the ones that are kings. Know your place, worms. Ha, ha, ha. Derek, you should write haikus for YouTube about the class war. Your channel grew well. Jeez, man. Thank you, Gordak. Love to you, Bandito. Yeah, you guys are both Pacific Northwest. One day, when this channel, cracks a milli, and we're doing good. Sorry, cat hair in my mouth. We're going to have to do fan meetups, and we're going to do them in the Pacific Northwest where there are orca sightings. Because obviously I want to see orcas. I want to see those class warriors in action. Just stop yapping, man. Just a dude. Go do your own live stream. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants you. KT Liz, Pacific Northwest. Love it. Never, ever, ever got to go to the Pacific Northwest, but it's the only rainforest in America. It has them huge trees, and it just looks cool as F. They have wolves, crows, ravens, and orcas, my 3 favorite animals. So thank you, CJ. You gotta move here, Rob. Listen, I almost had a radio show out there, and I kept telling this guy, let me help you. I can help your show. And he said the girl didn't like me, and then he got fired. I was like, I tried to tell you. But, but one day I'll make it out there. Now I'm just going to do it on my own, We'll do it on my own. We'll go out there, we'll do a live stream together. Born in Seattle, been back every year, beautiful. Oh, and plus it's the mecca of grunge. I gotta go and see the Kurt Cobain house and stuff. I gotta. You guys are lucky because in Washington, state of Washington, down south, Chris Novoselic, the bassist for Nirvana, is working with ranked choice voting and pushing the political agenda forward for us radical wokists. Jacob, just shut up. If you're going to say stupid shit, just shut up. Just shut up. I've been dominating a Blitz Royal, so hit me up, son. All right. I feel you. Oh, I was there for grunge. See, G-Ma? That's what I'm talking about. I would just like to go and breathe in that air. Yesterday when I was live in Salem, I said, do you ever imagine who was walking on these cobblestone streets before us? And I would love to go to Seattle and just daydream about who else was doing stuff in that area before. .007 Gaming. Bro, I just saw a deep dove on Kurt Cobain. There is no way he did it. Yeah. Yeah. I think I've done all the deep doves you can. And I'm not making funny. I think that's rad. You called it a deep dove. I do that stuff all the time. But yeah, I don't. I think one of the big suspect things is Courtney tore down the greenhouse behind the house that still stands, like immediately. Which, you know, why would you do that? Not that we can't go down this rabbit hole right now. We can't. Look at you. Can I say I told you so? Gma. Yep. We're getting there. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. All right. I'm your official YouTube vibe coach, but we also joke about the news every single day. And sometimes we have history lessons. I had to do this today, and hopefully you share this video with people because we played FDR saying the Economic Bill of Rights. I pointed out that FDR, the president, in 1944 said, if your business has to survive on exploiting workers, it shouldn't exist in America. And saying by living wages, when he's talking about the minimum wage, he says, I mean a living wage, not bare subsistence, which anybody that works at the minimum wage right now, you are bare subsistence level living. And that's not what it was implemented. And I share this with you because, again, knowledge is power. G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. So when you have to confront these people who say, like, you know, the Republican who said not all wages are supposed to be a living wage, you can directly tell him that he's a fucking moron because FDR, who implemented the minimum wage, meant it to be a living wage. So yes. And then when they say stuff about it being a teen job, say, oh yeah, I forgot Target closes from 7 to 3 every day while the teens are at school. It's just stupid on its face. And the reason a lot of people buy into it, because they have some kind of bias. Everybody in America has this corporate propaganda programming, and we're trying to deprogram people and get them to think outside of the box. Richard Cranium, and now you know enough. And now you know enough to go on and take on the world. And these people that will tell you, you know, no, some people deserve to suffer. Some people deserve a bare subsistence level. And you say, no, FDR meant everyone to have a decent living. Everyone. Minimum wage people. I say, I don't care if you flip burgers or flip stocks. You should have a decent living. Recreation included, like FDR said. Breakthrough. Quote, by dividing the workers through their political party system, we can get them to expand their energies in fighting over questions of no importance. Banker Magazine, 1924. God, I love history. Love history. How about the Republican rep that said we don't deserve health care while paying for his top-notch health? CJ, they've said it over the years. If you go back like years ago on my channel, I made a short about Raul Labrador. What a dog he was. That Republican guy who said nobody dies from not having health care. I've made these videos quite often because throughout the ages, these Republicans keep saying shit like that. And that's why arming people with this stuff, understanding our history, that FDR did want everyone to enjoy being healthy, did want everyone, minimum wage or not, to have a good living, decent living. Then once you're armed with that knowledge, no one could tell you, you'll never question it again. Once you hear it out of FDR's own mouth, once you read his speeches, you'll never, when these Republicans, these maggots, these people try to tell you that, you know, oh, you should just suffer, you should have a bare subsistence level and workers, free market gets to decide. No, that's not fucking what the free market is. The free market has become a monopoly and they're exploiting people. And FDR, I subscribe to his fucking values of if you have to pay people a bare subsistence level of living, then your business shouldn't exist. So that's the thing. Once you learn this, you can never. That's why I tell people all the time, not just here on YouTube, but IRL. I say I'm planting a seed and I go up and I tap them on the fucking head. I'm just kidding. But I tell people all the time, I'm planting a seed. I say I'm planting a seed because once you know this, you can't unknow it. And then just by transmission, somebody will say, you know, oh, it's a teen job. You shouldn't be able to survive off of flipping burgers. And you say, well, actually, no. FDR meant for people to survive off of that. And then if you want to do better, then that's fine. And the other thing that you need to understand about this is, guess what? If flipping burgers starts paying $100,000 a year, everybody's going to want to do that. So it's not about people don't want to work anymore, because if flipping burgers pays $100,000 a year, then everyone's going to do that. And you know what your job is going to have to do? They're going to have to pay more. And for all you who go, oh, well, then prices will go up. Prices go up no matter what. This hasn't happened, and in your little hypothetical, prices have already gone up. That's what we're facing right now, okay? So I need people to fucking understand this. Okay? Understand this. The prices go up no matter what. And never forget, folks. Never, ever, ever forget. All right, guys. That was a lot. That was a lot today. Bandito, why no labor stats? Share with me in the Discord, because today I really wanted to focus on these people who say, oh, communist. And I said, the only communist in this country or the corporations, where they're trying to take all your private property and take all your money, okay? They're trying to disassemble the government so they can rule everything, they can own all the land and rent it back to you. And a real communist state would be a classless, moneyless, stateless society. It sounds like heaven. It's what Jesus described, not me. Call him the communist, which I'm not saying I'm against, but I'm a socialist. I'm the radical woke mob that those tough Republicans and Joe Rogan, the Roganites, warn you about. Well, why are you so scared of us? What do we want? Worker power? Universal basic income, universal health care, paid parental leave, paid vacation time, no one in America to have to call an Uber instead of an ambulance, no medical debt, no student debt. What are you so scared of? That it will infringe on your right to be a trillionaire? Go fuck yourself. Good to catch you, G-Mom. Glad you made it here. I'm kidding. We need to, I've wanted to invent decades ago a sarcastic font, and still no one's done it. I'm just gonna have to do it myself. The privatization of America. Yup. All right, guys, so if you haven't hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, go check out Bunk, Coffin now that I'm wrapping up, and hit that notification bell because you could join me tomorrow. Tomorrow I might be going to the great land of live free or die. If you don't know what state that is, I make fun of it all the time because they say live free or die, but it's usually only about taxes, because if you bring a couple of pounds of cannabis there, you're not going to live free, let me tell you that. And it's just a medicine. So, Bandito, CJ, Alma, Chief, universal basic income means an income without doing anything, just for existing. Look up, like, the Scandinavian countries or the countries that have implemented it. In fact, Richard Nixon, I can't do this right now. I'm not going to go into it, but we'll talk about it a different time. Thank you for joining. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love. Thank you to all the mods, Chief, Gma, good to see you. And I'll see you soon. Peace. Never forget. Release the files.